Welcome to the Smart Weight Loss Coaching Podcast. I'm Dr. Lisa Olson, a board-certified weight loss medicine specialist and certified life coach. In this podcast, I'll share fresh insights and effective techniques for incorporating mindset, habit change, and proven science into your life. Are you ready to achieve sustainable weight loss, wellness, and longevity? Then let's jump in and lose weight the smart way. Welcome back. Would you trust a company that was making a product illegally and trying to fly under the regulatory radar in order to make money? What if that company was illegally making a medication despite being warned that they were in violation of the law? Would you feel differently if it was a medication you desperately wanted to take to lose weight and had no other way to access? Today's episode is going to be a juicy one. We'll start by talking about a woman in my program. Let's call her Melinda, who told me she had recently started buying compounded semaglutide. She was sure that the company she was using was legit and that their products were very safe. It was the website that convinced her of that. That and the fact that a colleague told her it was a reputable company. But how would any of us know that? How would you know if your compounded med came from a reputable source or not? The topic of compounded meds has become increasingly relevant for people working on weight loss. Whether you're focused on managing your blood sugar because you have prediabetes, like me, or you have diabetes, or you're trying to lose some weight, compounded GLP-1 receptor agonists have probably hit your radar. These medications work like hormones we naturally have in our bodies that lower appetite and create a sense of fullness after eating, what we call increased satiety. But these meds are like our internal hormones on steroids. The effectiveness of GLP-1 meds has led to widespread use and increased demand. In fact, when these meds were first introduced, the demand was so high that it was really hard to find them in pharmacies. I've actually never seen anything quite like this in my career. I had clients regularly calling 5 to 10 pharmacies to try to find their next month's supply. So it's really no surprise that someone saw a business opportunity there. Copycat and even counterfeit versions of these medications started to pop up, alongside some versions made by legitimate compounding pharmacies who stepped in to address the shortage. Right now, it's illegal to make compounded GLP-1 meds because there's no shortage of the FDA-approved and regulated versions. I have women asking me about compounded meds like semaglutide, tirzepatide, and even retatrutide all the time. These drugs have gained a lot of attention recently, not just for their effectiveness, but also because the compounded versions are far less expensive, which is understandably appealing for those without insurance coverage for these meds. It's the rare fortunate person who has the ability to pay anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month for treatment if their insurance doesn't cover Ozempic, Wegovy, or Zepbound. And this is why compounded meds have become so popular. Back in 2017, controlling blood sugar got much easier with the approval of Ozempic, which is the same medication found in the weight loss drug Wegovy. The active ingredient in each of these meds is semaglutide. Wegovy hit the market in 2021, and the even more effective and better tolerated tirzepatide, branded as Zepbound, was FDA approved for weight loss in 2023. I have to tell you that these meds have changed everything in my field. We now have data showing that these medications are beneficial not only for blood sugar control and for weight management, but also for a long list of other health conditions as well. We're seeing positive outcomes in cardiovascular disease, sleep apnea, and in advanced fatty liver disease called MASH, which is metabolic dysfunction-associated steatohepatitis. The FDA approved semaglutide for chronic kidney disease this year, and I expect the list of conditions that can be treated with these meds is going to continue to grow. Today, we'll focus on the most highly effective meds that are FDA approved for weight loss, semaglutide and tirzepatide, marketed under the brand names Wegovy and Zepbound. And we'll discuss the compounded versions of these meds. As I mentioned, these meds have been game changers for so many of my clients, but they come with a high price tag, often as much as $1,000 per month. Because of the cost, insurance companies that cover these meds require prior authorizations and set specific weight-based criteria for body mass index. They often mandate trials of less effective older weight loss medications first before approving coverage. According to Harvard Health author Robert Virchinsky and colleagues, compounded GLP-1s can be hundreds of dollars cheaper per month than branded versions, and they're easier to get. But since they're not FDA approved, they haven't undergone the same safety or quality testing and may not be as effective. Let's get specific about the downsides to using the compounded versions of these medications so you can make your own informed decisions with input from your doctor. The FDA and others have highlighted several concerns. Number one, safety and dosing errors. Compounded products can vary in concentration and packaging. Unlike pre-filled pens or single-dose vials of FDA-approved drugs, compounded meds may come in vials or syringes that contain multiple doses, increasing the risk of administering too much or too little. Dosing errors have led to gastrointestinal issues like severe vomiting, diarrhea, extreme constipation, dehydration, fainting, acute pancreatitis, and hospitalization, according to an FDA alert issued in 2024. In preparation for this episode, I read so many articles with case reports about people overdosing on these weight loss meds. Number two, product quality concerns. Some compounded GLP-1s have added ingredients like vitamins that can change how the drug behaves in the body. Because these products aren't subject to bioequivalence testing, we can't be certain about their effectiveness or safety. And because the concentration of compounded meds may vary, you may get too much of the drug, leading to overdose, or too little, making it ineffective. This comes from a statement released by the American Diabetes Association in 2025. Remember, getting too much of the drug doesn't mean you'll just lose more weight. It could mean that you'll be harmed by severe side effects. Not long ago, in 2012, there was a meningitis outbreak caused by fungal contamination of some compounded products. These were GLP-1s, but it could happen with any meds. Number three, counterfeit products. Believe it or not, the FDA has found counterfeit GLP-1 meds circulating online. Some sites take payment without delivering the drug, they provide incorrect concentrations, or sell unapproved salt forms of semaglutide, which may have unknown safety or effectiveness issues. These were discussed in an FDA warning letter released to the medical community in 2025. Number four, there are also concerns about misleading advertising. In a study published in 2025 by Scully, Chetty, Chen, and colleagues, they found that many online pharmacies claim that compounded drugs are FDA approved, which they're not. And some promote unproven benefits like improved sexual function or reduced hair loss. Nearly half of the websites failed to provide safety warnings or contraindications, meaning they didn't explain who shouldn't take these medications. Talking about contraindications is critical when it comes to prescribing meds. If you have a personal or family history of certain types of cancers, if you've had pancreatitis or certain gastrointestinal problems, it may be dangerous for you to take these medications. That's why the branded versions of GLP-1s are prescribed by licensed healthcare professionals, doctors, and advanced practice nurses with the training and qualifications to know who can and who can't safely take these meds. Some online companies sell these products without a prescription, and some don't even have a pharmacist available to answer questions. I personally find that patients are misled by marketing and also by professional-looking websites that make some companies appear to be highly focused on safety. A good web design in no way equates with good quality control in a pharmaceutical manufacturing plant. But people are vulnerable when they desperately want something to be true. I get that. Before I give you my bullet point list of pros and cons to compounded weight loss meds and my ultimate recommendation, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. Just kidding. It's still me, Dr. Lisa Olson, physician and founder of Smart Weight Loss Coaching. If you're as focused on your health as you are on the scale, you're my person. In my online program, we'll help you establish healthy habits for weight loss, better health, and longevity. If you'd like to learn more about our affordable monthly membership, head over to smartweightlosscoaching.com. We would love to help you transform the way you approach weight loss so it takes up less brain space and frees up your time for other things you love to do. Join us to see how different a smart weight loss program can be. And we're back. Let's run through a list of the pros and cons of using compounded GLP-1 weight loss meds, and then I'll tell you what I tell my clients about it. Here are the pros. Number 1, affordability. There's just no getting around the fact that GLP-1 meds are the most effective medications we've ever had to treat excess weight. This is particularly true for tirzepatide. If you can't afford this life-changing medication due to the cost, who can blame you for being curious about more affordable ways to access these meds? Number 2, easier access. Compounded meds often don't require a doctor's visit or prescription. You don't need insurance approval or a prior authorization. Just sign up, pay for it, and have the meds handed to you or mailed to your home. And number 3, availability during shortages. I can see why the prior shortages made room for these compounding companies to proliferate. They were filling a gap in availability that Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly were unable to fill for a while. Luckily, the shortage is long over. The cons to the compounded GLP-1s, as I've already mentioned, are that these meds aren't FDA approved or regulated. They're more likely to result in dosing errors. There's quality variability, counterfeit risk, lack of oversight, misleading marketing, and also, it's illegal to manufacture compounded semaglutide or tirzepatide at this time. Finally, the Obesity Medicine Association, the American Diabetes Association, the FDA, and other professional organizations all recommend against using compounded GLP-1 meds. Interestingly, my malpractice insurance carrier won't insure any physicians who prescribe compounded weight loss meds. This is a fascinating clue into the risks because I know they have one main motivation: money. They don't want their doctors to prescribe meds that lead to bad outcomes because that costs them money. Think about that for a moment. My insurance carrier thinks you're more likely to have a bad outcome if you take compounded meds. That's somewhat compelling to me. So, you can probably guess what I tell my patients when they ask for a prescription or a recommendation for where they can buy compounded weight loss meds. I don't prescribe them, nor do I recommend them. But I also don't refuse to take care of someone who chooses to get them elsewhere and to see me for guidance on habit change, nutrition, and how to permanently lose weight. Melinda from my program is an example of that. I've known her for a year while she's taking these compounded medications. Luckily, she hasn't had any complications, but she's been pretty astounded by the lack of professionalism and organization at the place where she buys her meds. Her stories about that worry me, and I'm glad she's rethinking it. When there's a tough choice to be made, I always ask myself, what would I tell my sister if she asked me about whether or not to take compounded weight loss meds? So here's my answer. I don't think you should. If you can't afford the GLP-1 meds, you could consider one of the older weight loss medications that are a lot less expensive. I'd also recommend hanging in there because in the next 6 months, we may see meds like retatrutide and orforglipron hit the market, which should help to drive down the cost. More options means someone will drop the price of their meds to get more of the market share. At least that's what we're hoping. I'd recommend focusing on habit change, nutrition, movement, healthy sleep, positive self-talk, and stress management, and then just hang in there because in 2026, we'll have more options. Okay, it's time for your NBA, your next best action for today. Maybe you want to talk with your healthcare provider about weight loss meds, or maybe you want to double down on one specific healthy habit through the end of the year, when hopefully there'll be more news about affordable weight loss medications. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more support during your smart weight loss journey, check out our group coaching program at smartweightlosscoaching.com. Until next time, stay well and stay smart.